Hello, everybody.
Hey, welcome to our Patreon. Thank you so much, first of all, for subscribing. We love you guys so much. It means a lot that you guys are willing to come watch us do goofy shit for funsies.
Yeah, so this is our first review for our Patreon. So if you guys are subscribed to the appropriate tier, you get to see us talk about and go kind of in depth on some reviews on some of our favorite TV shows, games, or movies, or anything else that you guys have told us you would like to just see us react to or talk about.
Yeah,
So,
and this is exclusive to the Zeitgeist here, so you guys
yes.
are you guys are part of the good club.
So, this is our Patreon review. Ba, ba, ba,
Welcome.
ba. And in case you didn't catch that little bit of foreshadowing in Kelsey's wording there, we're talking about The Good Place.
Hey.
So, this is a show that Kelsey has told me to watch. I don't know. Did the show
Ever.
end in 2019? Or
It
did it
can
end
you
this year?
believe it ended in 2020? Like I feel like this
Yeah,
show
okay.
has been off the air for several years now, but no, it ran 2016 to January 2020. Like
Okay.
I can't believe it ended this year.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. The way you've talked about it, I always thought it ended a year or two ago. I thought it was older than it
Yeah.
than it than it was.
I mean, this year has felt like roughly 6 years anyway, so maybe that's distorting your perspective of time, your
I
perspective
mean,
of the Jeremy Bearimy, if you will.
that is 100% true. Like,
Yeah,
this is one Jeremy Bearimy of a fucking year.
it really is.
I feel like I've started it over 16 times
Yeah,
and I'm still in the same spot.
right.
Um,
So,
but you've
um,
talked about it. The only thing I can say is ad nauseum. You love this show.
yeah, I really do. It's a
You have
good
talked about it so
show.
much.
It it makes me so happy. The characters in this show are so well written and they're so diverse. Like
Yeah.
not only in, you know, just the basic human things like skin color and nationality and all that, but just like they're so diverse in their personalities. They're the
Oh
most
my god, yeah.
disparate kinds of human beings that you can possibly get together. And
And
that's really the
like,
whole premise of the show. Cause like, so I do we need to put a spoiler warning here? If you guys are here,
I
you
mean,
should know that we're going to go into full
I think
detail
you
about the good
know.
place.
Yeah.
So spoilers ahoy.
There you go.
The entire premise of the show is that so for the first season, they're all together in what is thought to be the good place, which is heaven after you die. Um, and they find out at the very end, like the twist ending to the first season is that they're not actually in the good place. They are in the bad place. They're in an experiment that is designed because they are the human beings on Earth who are best suited to torture each other for eternity, just based on personality alone.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I kind of thought about that. That was a little bit of like a weird thing for one of the demons to come up with because he's like, let's put ourselves out of a job and just let them kind of run the job for us?
I mean, after millennia, you might get a little bit bored of coming up with torture after torture.
Why would you not want to flatten penises forever? Like, I just don't understand.
I guess.
But, I mean, it was a cool idea because he's just like, what if we let them do it?
Yeah,
So, hey, being Michael, so Ted
right.
Danson.
Ted Danson, our
Man,
favorite.
so, okay, I've never watched Cheers. Ever.
What?
Not a single episode in the history of time.
What?
Because it's it was pretty much on Nick at Night when I was
Yeah.
growing up, and I didn't have cable, so I
Oh,
never
right.
really watched Nick at Night.
Uh.
Because I've never seen Gilligan's Island, which I know is
Oh
big
my
on Nick
god.
at Night.
Yeah.
Um, there's a couple other shows that most of my friends love the show. They go, "Oh yeah, I watched it on Nick at Night."
Right.
I
Kid
didn't.
Insomnia Channel.
Yeah, I didn't really have that, so I've never seen Cheers. But
God, it's so good.
but I love Becker.
Yes.
I fucking loved Becker when that was on
Nobody
TV,
remembers
man.
Becker. It's such a good
How do you
show.
not remember Becker? It was the
I
funniest
know.
show.
It's so
Oh
funny.
my god. And now watching this, it makes me want to go find Cheers just to see Ted Danson young
Yeah.
and doing stuff, because he
Ted
has
Danson is the best.
always been consistently good and funny in everything.
Yes.
So
And even like on set, the actors, I read some interviews with them. They were like, he's a child on set. He's literally a child. He's the most immature person, and we love him for it.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
he's a
I
lot of fun to.
had my Bucky's label faced the wrong way.
I have my Bucky's label. It's hard to see because its cup is white.
So,
Represent.
I guess all I can say is I watched it at your request.
Yes.
I've already said it on the podcast before, but hands down, it goes in the books as one of the greatest TV shows of all time to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could say in general and still not be wrong.
I'm really glad that you like it as much as I do, because honestly, like we have talked about before, it's a masterclass.
Yeah.
It's one of
Yes.
those shows that you can look at and point to and say, like, this is how you write characters. This is how you write plot and character development.
Now, I don't think masterclass is really something a lot of people say, so I'm going to go ahead and say on the YMBToAP rating scale, masterclass is the top.
Yes.
We're going to have to release like our own like review words and say like, oh, when we say it's this, you know it's there, but when we say masterclass,
you know it's up there.
That's the tippity top.
Tippity top.
That's masterclass. It is
as high as you can go.
Hands down. It is one of the smartest shows I've ever watched. And not just because it says smart things, it throws out factual stuff. No, the way that it literally comes full circle. They knew what they were crafting the entire way through, and it shows.
And crafting is the perfect word for this show, because they build on it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they take these characters on a journey. Everybody goes into it kind of a shitty person, and they come out the other side. Everyone is transformed. They truly are, like, they belong in the good place at the end of that show. I think all of them deserved it.
So in my script writing class that I took millennia ago, one of the number one rules was essentially the point, or what makes a good script, is you come to your main character at the worst point in their life.
Yeah.
You should never come to a character at their best point, because what's the conflict? What's the drama? Everything's good.
Right.
So you always see them at the bottom. And then by the end of
worse?
Your script, them being in hell. I know.
Yeah.
But then by the end, you're always supposed to have the transformation. Where did they start versus now? They should be a different person by the end.
Yes.
This show is that 100%.
Absolutely, for certain.
None of them are the same person by the end.
Yeah, and I mean, you can even go by, like, so the show involves 4 humans. There's Eleanor, played by Kristen Bell, Chidi Enigonye, played by, I forget the man's name, but he's a wonderful actor.
He's right here. Where's old?
They're all essentially like new actors to the scene, aside from Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. Like, everybody in there is kind of a nobody as they go into it.
William Jackson Harper.
Yes, I love him so much. He's so funny.
It's weird. I had just seen that he's going to be like the lead of some brand new TV show.
Really?
Yeah, and I had just read that article right when I started the show, and I was like, oh, hey, it's that Chidi guy. And now by the end of it, I'm like, no wonder he's going to lead a show. Like, he was fantastic.
So good. Yes.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, so the show revolves around these 4 humans. It's Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani, and Jason. And
I love Tahani. I hated her in season 1.
Oh my god, Tahani hated Tahani in season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Jamila Jamil, actually, she did not, like, she enjoyed playing the character, but she hated who she was as a person.
Yeah.
But then by the end of season 2, she was like, okay, I've fallen in love with Tahani now, and I want to continue this role forever.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, there's the 4 humans. There's Ted Danson, who's a demon. And then, last but not least, is Janet, who is essentially like the Alexa of the afterlife.
Yeah.
And
can I just say, I love that her clothes never change. She's literally in the one outfit the entire
forever.
show.
Yeah.
I had just rewatched the ending show to kind of prep for this.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the thing you first see her in. And here's the last scene of the show, and there it is. Like, I love that because you just know
Yeah,
that's Janet, you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And you know that it's good Janet. It's not bad Janet. It's not
Yeah.
neutral Janet or disco Janet.
I wish they were all Disco Janet.
I know.
She was the
She's
best.
very groovy.
So, um, yeah, this show is just it's it's hard to put the show into words
Yeah,
without you having actually seen it
right.
to know what it means when you do put a word to it, you know?
Yeah, so on the writing staff for the show, they had two consulting philosophers that they
Okay.
constantly went to be like, how can we incorporate new things of philosophy into this? How can we explain it to where like the layman would understand it, you
Yeah.
know? Which I think is extremely helpful because they do explain a lot of philosophical concepts in this show,
Yeah.
but they boil them down so simply and so like naturally that it doesn't feel like the show is talking down to you, you know?
Yeah.
I just think it's
That's
beautiful in the way it's written.
cool cuz what's it called? Big Bang Theory had
Hmm.
actual physicists on the writing staff to like put real science into it, and they actually developed some new science in the course of that show
What?
that was developed on the show.
That's cool.
And then Futurama actually
Yes.
had that mathematician, and they developed a whole like algorithm
Right.
specifically for an episode of fucking Futurama, you know? So I
I love it
love
when
it.
shows
Yeah.
take themselves seriously to that level.
Yeah, and it's just real like that.
Yeah,
That's so
because I
cool.
mean, you see shows where, you know, for example, they bring in like hackers or something on CSI,
Yeah.
and the goal is just like type as fast as you can and that will get you to hack. But
Yeah.
to have like consulting people in the field that know exactly how to communicate these concepts to
Yeah.
an audience of average intelligence, it's beautiful and wonderful.
So I just wanted to ask because me and Taylor have had this debate going through it. Just real quick before we like really get into it,
Okay.
if you were gonna say I am this character from the show,
Oh man.
who
I
are
think
you?
you know who I am.
I know who I think you are,
Okay.
but you say no.
Oh, tell me who you think I am.
I think you're Janet. You are
that's
so Janet.
that's not the first time I've heard that, and
I
I will
know.
take it as a compliment because
You
I do love Janet in this
are
show.
Janet. I've seen you throw up that many pennies. No. I don't know, just her demeanor and the way that she does know things and just presents stuff, and she's just like so like about it.
Yeah.
Like when they're all like, "You're like the prettiest girl I've seen." Not a girl. Like I just get a hardcore Kelsey vibe from her every time. Not a girl, not a robot.
Yep.
Like to me, that's you.
I do love Janet a lot, and I identify with her in some aspects. But
Okay.
as far as like the humans go, if I had to relate to any one of them, it's Chidi for sure.
Okay.
Chidi suffers from like crippling indecisiveness, and
Okay.
I feel that so deeply in my soul. Like, do I want a limoncello La Croix or do I want a
Oh my
hibiscus
god.
La Croix? It took me a minute to like decide what to bring
Yeah.
to this podcast today. I went with limoncello, FYI.
Okay.
I'm gonna crack this thing open right
All
now,
right.
actually.
I'm gonna do it too. Let me get a nice side shot. Ooh.
That DP.
Okay. So, all right, fine. So I'll go the same way because I was like, honestly, I'm Glenn, and Taylor's like, who? And I was like, he's the demon that got exploded and was trying to be like, hey, they're trying to like fuck you guys over. I was like, that's me.
Okay.
I, I'm just Glenn.
All right. So in terms of the
But
humans,
me and Taylor came up to the same one. I would think that I was Eleanor. I think.
really,
Um, not because I'm as bad as Eleanor, because she was pretty fucking bad.
she really was like
She was kind of a bad person.
watching her scenes on Earth, like before she dies, you know, and she's just like
Yeah,
a total piece of shit.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
But kind of. Taylor said it's because I kind of just do my own thing, regardless of everybody else, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, Eleanor was Eleanor, and no matter what people thought about what she was doing or anything, she was like, "Well, that's me, and I'm gonna keep doing it."
Yeah, that's the draw of her character.
So
That's
yeah.
that sums her up.
So Taylor said that I was just like because I'd probably get into the good place, but I don't think I'm the goodest person.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's room for me to improve as a better person like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I kind of decide with her because I'm definitely not Tahani Rich or Jason Dumb.
Oh my
So
god. Jason's maybe one of my favorite characters ever on
he
television.
really is. I didn't like, man, season one of the show to the end, very different feelings about almost every single character.
Yeah.
Because I did
To
not like
first
Jason either.
Really, man, when I first started watching the show, I didn't like
Mm-hmm.
Eleanor. I couldn't get behind her character. I was like, why am I supposed to feel sympathy for someone who's
Yeah.
such a bad person?
Yeah.
But Kristen Bell really like brings her around and tells you
Oh yeah.
exactly why you need to love her.
Um, I had asked Taylor too. She said the same thing you did. Cheaty, because decisions.
Yeah.
She's like crippling anxiety and decisions, and I was like, yep,
Yes.
okay. So I think that's funny.
That was the man's life and his death. I
So
love the
then,
scene where it like flashes back to him as a kid and his parents are trying to get divorced. And he's like, here are 17 reasons why you shouldn't do that.
yeah.
It's like a whole PowerPoint.
So who is your favorite character in the show, though?
Oh, that's so hard.
Like, if you
That's
just said this is my hands down favorite character.
honestly, I think Michael is probably my favorite character because the
Damn
way that
you,
he
Kelsey. That's
what
mine. That's mine
really
too. Oh yeah, hands
yeah,
down.
the way that he just like views humanity just through it's such a childlike lens that he has on things.
Yeah,
Like he wants to be a human who like loses their keys. He wants that experience of like stubbing his toe, of
yeah.
going to guitar lessons and stuff.
Just
Just
like the tiniest mundane things,
yeah,
but it's things that. So, I mean, I guess he's a demon, but doesn't he call himself something else?
an architect.
Well, that's like his job,
Yeah,
but he's just like an ethereal being. I
yeah,
mean, as an ethereal being, some kind of manifestation of the universe.
yeah,
You don't sneeze. You don't do any of this, just the tiny annoyances that we have, and he finds those fascinating.
yeah.
He really reminded me of the dad. I can't think of the dad's name of the Weasley family, but
Oh, Arthur, yeah.
yeah, because he just like loves Muggles, and he's all like, "Do you really
Absolutely.
like use a can opener? Like, that's amazing to me. Like, just
I
being
never
so
made that
amazed by
connection.
that, you know."
Yeah, I
God,
definitely see that.
I thought of that the whole time I watched the show, because
That's a good comparison.
in like every scene of Harry Potter like that, I think what was my favorite. I think it's in part two when she tells him that they took the flying car. He's
Yeah.
like, "Ah, oh, did it work though?" Like he's just so like amazed at things that can just happen.
Yeah.
And I totally got Arthur Weasley vibes the whole time. But you know,
Yeah, I
Arthur
can
doesn't
definitely
want
see
to
that.
be one. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
it's just
yeah,
it was fun to watch him kind of get to act out his humanity
yeah,
in the end, but we can talk about the end when we get to
yeah.
the end, I guess, because we got a lot to unpack in this show.
So, okay, let me just go ahead and start from the beginning. I did know the spoiler,
Yeah.
but then I half thought it was gonna be another twist on me
Yeah.
because you can tell Michael's whole character by that twist at the end of season one.
Yes.
When you find out it's the bad place, I mean, Kelsey, how like mean can I take him when it's just like, oh, you found me out, angry. It's so like lackluster of anger. He wasn't mad, you know.
Yeah.
That I was like, maybe this actually is the good place, and that was another test, and it wasn't. But
No.
like, for being a like fire demon that he
Uh-huh.
is, there's no fire or anger in that man's body,
I
and you can
really
tell it.
the acting that he did was like so subtle and nuanced that when he does that like laugh, when they find it out,
Oh yeah,
and it's so like gleeful and evil at the same time.
yeah,
It's a wonderful laugh. I just think that he brings a lot of nuance to the character of Michael because you can tell that he he hates the humans when they start out and he wants his
Oh, yeah.
experiment to succeed. And like the more they go on with the new iterations of the experiment, he just starts to like really root for the humans almost. Like he wants them to break his experiment, it feels like.
Well, I think his whole character switches when they teach him about existentialism
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
whole like, wait, so no Michael? And they're like, no Michael.
Oh my god.
Ah! That whole thing. We laughed so hard at that part.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But like from that moment on, he was I think he finally understood the human condition.
Yes.
You know, there will be no Robert, no Kelsey at some point. We have to do what we need to now.
Yeah.
And for somebody who's been alive since time existed, you can't comprehend that.
Just
But
bust
it
his little brain
actually,
beats right up.
yeah, it like actually got through, and that's when I think he was really like, these people work way harder than we do for the things that they do and have.
Yeah.
I like that and really got behind them, you know?
Right.
Um, Also, really quick, I love Mindy St. Clair.
Yes. She was a good addition to the show. The idea of having a middle place was funny
Yeah.
to me. Just the point system that they have, like when they're actually like tallying up the points, and you
Yeah.
can see in the background like things that have points, things that are giving you points for the good or the bad place. Some of the stuff in there is just golden.
I've never like looked too deep into it, but I can only imagine with the smart way they say shit in this show.
Yeah, there's just stuff that's like, had a vanity plate, go 10 points to the bad place,
I
or
love
like
that.
bought almond milk versus
Dude,
regular milk.
that test. Yeah, like did you have a vanity plate? Have you ever paid money to hear the music by the Red Hot Chili Peppers? And I was like, why? Why is that bad? I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know? Yeah, the point system thing I thought was really, really smart. That's like one of those things I was saying was super smart about this show.
And that actually, the idea for the show came from Michael Schur when he was just like stuck in traffic one day, and like it's a game that he plays with himself. He just gives people points based on how they drive. Like, he cut me off, he's a shitty driver, minus 10 points to this guy. And he just like,
that's so funny,
developed in his brain to this big thing.
Like, I like wish you could have seen my face when they did the whole like he's like, show me how you do the points again, and they're like, okay, fine. And when they find out like here's a lady that picked flowers for her kid 500 years ago, plus 10 points. It's like, okay, here's a lady that just picked 10 flowers in 2020, and it's 10 points for picking flowers, but these flowers were grown using pesticides. That's minus 20 points. But then the pesticides fund like smog in the air. So this, and then all these negatives that just simply come from the same act.
Right.
You know, I was like, that's really smart. Like that's a good thought as to how nobody can seem to get in now.
Right.
I was like, that's amazing. That's ingenious.
It really makes you break down the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Just like going to the grocery store, you purchase an apple. Is it an organic apple? Was it bought from a farmer that uses unpaid immigrant labor or whatever? Like, it's just, there's so many different facets to it, and like different, is it good or bad? You have no real way of knowing.
Yeah, that whole like the world is just so complicated now.
Yes,
you know,
and
like, that was a big point that they made. It's
right.
Life is complicated now.
Yes, the morality of the show really, I think the show came around at exactly the right time, because it started in 2016 and ended in 2020. And this is a peak 4 years for the public to be discussing the morality of things and like what is good and what is bad. So I think that there's a lot of just like good, smart nuance that they put into different decisions that are made.
So, what was one of your favorite moments from the show?
Man.
Just like all-time like favorite moment.
I really loved the episode where everyone is inside of Janet and so they all look like Janet.
Oh my god, that one is amazing.
That
Yes.
episode in itself is a masterclass.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I read up on like how they did this episode, and they had all the characters do a table read of it so that
Okay.
Janet could like, or the actress Darcy Carden who plays Janet could like get a feel for the cadence in which the character would say it.
Yeah.
And so she recorded that table read and she played it on loop for a month, just over
Oh
and
my
over.
god.
So
Yeah.
she said that she went a little bit crazy doing it, but
It paid.
yeah.
It
And then
paid off big.
they had the characters like act out some of the scenes so that she could kind of get their mannerisms and their nuances and stuff to
Yeah.
like down to a T, because watching that episode you kind of forget that it's all one actress.
Oh no, like I saw Chidi, I saw
Yes.
Kristen Bell, like I saw the real people, you know,
Yeah.
but just
Like the
in
way,
that shape.
just the way that she voices all the characters in a way that sounds like them but is still Janet is
Oh yeah.
incredible. And just the way that she looks in all of their clothing, it's
God.
hilarious to me.
Yeah. That was a good one. Really, one of my favorite moments. I wish you just could have seen my face when they brought Timothy Oliphant in
Oh my god.
to like listen to their like way to fix the world, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I heard his voice and I go, "Is that Timothy?" And then he showed up as Justified because the judge had just been watching Justified, and I was like,
I love that judge.
"What is happening?" I was like, "This is the best show." I was like, "How funny is that?" I love
We
that.
know. Yeah.
I thought that was the best.
There's so much just weird shit that they get away with somehow. Like they pull it off.
I think the show had way too much improv in it.
You think so?
I really think Timothy comes into set and Maya Rudolph was like, "I'm going to make him uncomfortable." And he doesn't know. I really think that happened.
I'm curious as to how that was filmed, yeah, because the whole scene was just delicious to watch.
Because you could see him going like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like he looked at her, and there's another one. So this is in the finale. I won't go
Uh-huh.
too deep into it, but the doorman who
Oh
loves
my
his
God.
frogs, right?
Yes.
I 100% in my bones believe that Ted Danson was given a script where he gives him the frog, and the guy goes, "I have the perfect name for him." And Ted Danson's script said Michael. And he was going to be like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And then the actor goes, "Mr. Jumpy Legs." Because Ted Danson looked back at him and was like, "But you..." I see where, okay. And then just like went on about his business. I really think that was just thrown at him out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like you
Man,
can see there's a lot of just genuine reaction. I think
for some of the stuff, like Jason's lines,
Yeah.
I kind of wondered how many of those were improv. I know
Yeah.
that like some of them were, but some of them are just written in the script. But the actors on the set, they would say that like they knew what line was coming, but they didn't expect the delivery. So whatever
Okay.
way that like comes out of his mouth is just so funny that they all bust up laughing, and every single
Yeah.
one of his lines took like 7 takes.
Because he's ridiculous.
He's so funny.
He was the most ridiculous character on this show.
No.
And by the end of it, he is one of my favorite people. I was truly sad at the last show with him.
Yeah. He really goes on a whole journey.
His might be one of the biggest changes.
Oh,
I think.
yeah. For sure. Like, so he comes into the good place, thinking that he has gotten there on accident based on the fact that he is a Buddhist monk.
Yeah.
So they have to like hide his identity behind this John Yu character. And to watch him like struggle with staying John Yu in public is the funniest thing, because
when he really just wants to go Jags, like
Bortles.
Bortles. Oh, dude.
Yeah. He's got so many like good little Jasonisms. Like
He does. So, was there anything else? Do you use Jeremy Bearimy like in real life now to talk about time?
Yes.
Okay. Because you had told me, let me know when you get to the Jeremy Bearimy show.
That
Because
episode,
it's like one of your favorite ones.
Okay, so I want to make sure this is the same episode that I'm thinking of. That's the one where like Chidi has his whole mental breakdown, right?
You put the peeps in the chili, and then
It
you
makes
put
it
in the
taste bad.
M&M. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that was the
that
one.
I sing that like every time I'm cooking. You put the peeps in the chili
Kelsey,
bun.
that's
Put
why
the
you can't cook
M&M.
right.
I know.
It
It's all
doesn't
Chidi's
help.
fault. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That one was. I really liked. So really, this show just has the most interesting like lore. This world
Yeah.
is. This world is real. Like it works in
Yes.
there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And there's a scene, I don't think it's in Jeremy Bearimy, but it's like Chidi gets like sucked into a time warp or something,
Oh,
and he
and he
comes back,
sees. He sees the something edge.
the
Or this.
time knife.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And he
time
comes
knife.
back and he's like trying to describe it, and he's like, time was folding in on itself and there were edges and things were just, and then Ted Dancy goes, the time knife, we've all seen it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. He just
And,
brushes him off.
and he's just like, it's not okay. And he's like, it's really not okay. But, you know, when you see it before, like, you get over it.
Yeah.
Um, I think everybody in the show was handpicked to perfection.
Yes.
You know who I actually really like?
Who?
I really like Sean.
Okay, yeah.
The, like, bad demon head boss guy.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, the most evil person. But it's
Really
so
is.
monotone. It's just, I'm evil. I'm bad. I'm gonna flatten all the penises. Like, his character was perfect to me. I loved him.
The whole concept of the afterlife kind of as a clerical job where demons have like paperwork and stuff, that concept has been done to death, but they have a way of doing it in this show that just makes it feel fresh.
Yeah, I loved it. And I just like how it's not like every demon was really evil.
Yeah.
They weren't angry or just bad. They were like, well, I mean, it's my job. It's just what I do.
Right. Just what I do.
Like, I fill people's eyes with bees. Like, you don't do that on a normal basis?
Fill the eyes. Go home.
Yeah. Because Vicky literally just wants to be an actress.
Yeah.
She's a demon who just like, I just want to do acting and make you believe my performance. Like, that was her purpose.
Yeah.
Like, she's
and
not
watching
evil.
Michael like help her fulfill that a little bit, like letting her run wild in that 4th season.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch.
Like, I just loved everybody. I thought everybody had a really cool... They all just felt like real people. Like, when you go to, like, an actual office, you go to a real business, you will find the most random personalities in there, you know?
Yeah.
And it just felt like it was real, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just, like, generic, okay, so here's the demons, they're all bad, that's their personality. They just want to hurt people.
Yeah.
None of them were truly just that, you know?
They all bring something special to it. Like, everybody's got their own little pizzazz.
Yeah, like Sean was even bad. But it was almost like his bad came out of his rivalry with Michael. His whole thing was just, I just don't want Michael to win. I'm not even bad like that. I just don't want him to win. I have a beef with him.
Yes.
Because my favorite scene, when they've already fixed all the points, they've made this whole new system, they go like, Sean, do you agree? And he just looked at him, he's like, I will never, ever, 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 ever agree with you. And I shortened that for time purposes because he throws in so many evers.
It goes on for like 2 minutes.
That show was so funny. And it was just like, never ever. I just don't want you to have this, but I agree.
Never ever.
So I really like the show. I feel like we need to just discuss the final episode because that's kind of where everything pays off and is big.
That's the meat of it.
And then I kind of want to talk about what you took from the show at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I was telling Taylor from watching this show, I was like, I just don't see how a person could watch this show and just go, I was entertained, and walk away.
Yeah, you don't come away from the show the same person. It kind of
learn
takes
something.
things from you and it gives you new things.
Because I have one for Taylor to tell you about when we get to what we kind of took from it.
Okay.
And it like alleviated something for her that has been
Yeah,
a giant thing for her since she was a little girl.
me too. I'm curious to see if it's the same thing.
I'm wondering if it will be, because you guys are both cheaty, so.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get into this final show.
All right.
So, I watched it today.
I
I,
couldn't.
I
You
cried three
requested that I
times.
should, man. Yeah, you requested that I rewatch this, but I couldn't put myself
but,
through it again.
but you
Like it's
just
one of those
gotta,
shows.
man.
It's one of those shows where like I watched it.
Yeah,
I watched the show in real time.
yeah,
So I wasn't able to like binge through any of it.
yeah.
Everything had to come to me episode by episode, which was painful during season 3 because season 3 is kind of where they go back to Earth and they do
That
their
was
weird
that was the
side plot
slowest
lines.
season for me.
Yeah, it was. I understand the purpose of it in the whole scheme of
Oh,
things,
you
but
have a
it
creepy kitty behind you right now.
do I.
Wicket just came in to fuck up whoever walked in before him. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you."
I'm gonna get you.
So
Yeah,
that's very different then, because I got to just I cranked it out in under a week, I think.
you got to watch this show like popcorn, like just
Yeah,
handful by handful.
because
So
I I will say honestly, if I had to have waited week by week, I probably would not have finished the show.
it was hard to get through season 3, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
like I would have been
made
like,
it
I'll just wait
through.
till it's done.
The payoff is worth it, every single bit of it.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, so when you get to episode when the final episode comes around, by this point the cast has entirely figured out the point system. They've gone through it and they're all like essentially in the good place now, like the real good place,
so
actual heaven.
so the whole thing is nobody has gotten into heaven in like 500 years
Yeah.
because life is now complicated. So every action we do winds up being more negative, even though it's the same thing that we were doing 500 years before that.
Right.
And so they're like, well, that's not fair. Like, how can we unknowingly be doing bad when we're still just doing the same things?
Right.
So they figured out a whole system to let people into heaven. They've developed a way to let people who are in the bad place kind of graduate to heaven. You're not
Yes.
simply trapped in there. But when they got there, everybody who got into the good place before hates it.
Yeah.
They all hate it because it's so perfect that now all the things that made them good have faded because they're just essentially numbed to everything.
Yeah, there's no more fun. Like when you
Yeah.
are allowed to just have unlimited goodness. Like
Yeah.
in life, you want to have good things, but you can't appreciate the good
But
things.
you work for them.
Yeah, you can't appreciate the good things without having some kind of a cost to get them
Yeah.
or some kind of negative experience before you get there.
Yeah. Because
So,
Chidi meets one of his all-time philosophical idols,
yeah.
and she can't even remember what the idea of that philosophy was. Like, their brains are even like they aren't smart like they used to be because they just don't have to think. They don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So the good place sucks.
Yes.
And they develop a door that you can go through. So once you've had your fill of goodness at the end of life, you can go through a door and then it is actually done.
Yes.
So, did you watch Coco?
No.
You never watched that one? Okay.
I watched it like it was on in the background at a party that I was at.
Okay.
Which is not the best way to watch this movie.
So, the whole door thing is kind of in Coco.
Okay.
But so
Because I know that in Coco they go over the idea that like you die and you go to the afterlife, and then
Yes.
once you're in the afterlife you kind of die again once people stop remembering you.
Yes. So it was this whole when you die after death, he was like, what happens then? And then the guy was like, I don't know. I mean, that's like the ultimate mystery. Like, we are already at this stage. There
Right.
could be more,
Yeah.
but like we don't know. You know, this one lets you know there's not really more, but I like what they do.
Yes.
But so yeah, I got like a Coco vibe. Like, man, dying after death. That's a wild thought, you know, because you really think you're gonna be
It
somewhere
is.
forever.
Yeah.
But I loved that it was like, you could be, but yeah, you're gonna get done.
Right. You'll tire of it eventually. So I think one of the most telling storylines is Jason's, because he does literally everything. Like, he plays a perfect game in Madden.
Yeah,
He meets his idols. He completes everything that he wants to do that's like on his list of
yeah.
here's stuff that I want to have done.
I will
And
say I loved in the
oh my
final
god.
episode when they like have the moment that lets them know it's time to go, because
Yeah.
this it is always the tiniest thing.
Yeah.
His was the perfect game of Madden, like you just said.
Yeah.
He played that perfect game and was like, oh, and then was ready. You know?
And the big question was like, how do you know when you're ready? And the way that he said, like, I felt like the air inside of my lungs was the same as the air outside of
Yeah,
my lungs. That was a huge moment. Like,
yeah.
that line sticks with me.
That's that's like a He's basically at perfect equilibrium.
Yeah.
There was nothing that needed to get out of him, and nothing else that he could intake. He was at balance.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good line. The last episode is really full of good lines like that, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah,
Absolutely.
so he decides to leave. He's the first one of the four to go, which,
Before we get into this, can you hear Richard back there like screaming?
no.
Should I go close his door?
I mean, if you want to. I don't hear anything. And
Okay.
nothing's popping up on your little line meter down there.
Okay. Good. Sorry, patrons.
Um so basically the last episode is everybody coming to peace with themselves at the end, you know.
Yeah.
And of course Jason would be the first. He was the simplest one. I mean, come on.
That's absolutely true.
He was Florida man.
Yeah.
I
That's his
mean,
whole character.
it didn't take much for him to be fulfilled by the
Right.
end, you know. I
Like,
mean,
he had an itemized list of things he wanted to do, and like
yeah.
you said, the most simplistic thing, he wanted to have a perfect game of Madden. He
Yeah.
did it. Check. Moving on.
And then it was good.
Yeah.
Um I honestly feel bad the most for Janet's character, the lady that plays her in the show,
Yeah.
because she's been in the show since the first one with all these people and watched everybody change, while her character has grown, but she's still like the same character, you know?
Right. So like her software gets updated, but she's essentially the same version.
Yeah, but she has to say bye to everybody in the show,
Yeah.
and that actress, when I was watching it, she had to feel the most
Yeah.
out
She
of
was saying
everybody.
goodbye to the characters, like, because as a character in the show, you know your character is going to come to a physical end. Like,
Yeah,
this is the last time you will play them. And so they were saying goodbye to those characters and also each other as actors, because they've been on the
yeah,
set for 4 years together.
yeah,
And they're part of this really big, kind of important movement that
yeah,
I think the show really did enter kind of the zeitgeist of the society.
yeah.
So yeah, like you said, Janet is just saying goodbye to the characters and the actors. It's a really multi-layered thing.
Oh yeah. So Jason goes to leave, and I just love that he's like, I'm fine with leaving. I just don't want Janet to forget me,
Yeah.
because he fell in love with Janet in season 2,
Yeah.
I think. So
Their love story was so interesting to me.
yeah, because he forgot her because they had to reset everything for the people, but Janet never forgets anything. So
Yeah.
she knew about all of it, and then he essentially falls in love with her again in a separate
There's so
time,
many
you know?
there's so many tropes in this show that really like get at my heart. And one of these things, so like star-crossed lovers that are bound to
Close
meet
enough.
time after time after time in every
Yeah.
iteration, that shit gets me like right in the soul. I feel that so hard.
Did you ever
So like
watch Hancock with Will Smith?
I did, I don't really remember it.
That's the plot,
Okay.
which people don't know because most people didn't make it past the first half because it's kind of a bad movie.
Oh, well.
But the whole thing is he's like, him and Charlize Theron are these like, they're these beings that always find each other no matter how many
Yeah.
times they've been reborn, no matter what time period it is, they always find each other. But when they are together, the world almost ends every time. Bad things happen. So
That gets my soul.
he never remembers, and she does. And in this
Ah,
iteration, she's like trying to keep him away, but he keeps
awful.
coming back. So she finally tells him, like, this is what happens. This is how it goes every time. This is not the first. It's like the millionth time we found each other.
Yeah.
You have to go away. You can't be with me. You know?
Yeah.
And at the end, he actually decides to stay away from her and let her be with this other person she's found now. And things are good, but he'll always love her, you know? The movie's actually good in that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cool trope.
Yeah. So Chidi and Eleanor really had that going on too, because they every time their
Oh my
timeline
God, yeah.
started over, they would find each other, and
They would. Every time.
that one where they have to like erase
cry,
Chidi's
Kelsey.
memory. I'm gonna cry. They have to erase Chidi's memory, and Eleanor has to like go through it.
And
like
she
he's
has to
not
remember
gonna.
forever, yeah.
Yes, and he's not going to remember, and that shit like really hurts.
To me, it was so bad because he had agreed to do it, and they do that like memorial video of their time together, and then he's
Yes.
like, "All right, I gotta go." I was like sitting there.
It's hard to watch. It makes me sad.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
So what was the point of that? Oh, they needed somebody from the original group to be part of the new experiment to see if it would happen again.
Yes.
And he volunteered. Right. Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah.
Because they finally got together.
I know.
Like it had finally happened, you know?
Yeah.
But, oh, real quick. Can I just say, when they go to the mailroom in heaven, the person that was like the mail clerk, I gotta find her name, because the most perfect person they could have picked to be like the happiest like heaven person of all time.
I love her.
Yeah, she's from shit, what's the show on Netflix? Nailed It.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
Shirley something?
Something like that.
What's her name?
I can't. It wasn't on Wikipedia, so.
Shit.
Nailed It. Host. Let's see. Nicole Byer. Yeah.
That's it.
Nicole Byer's the funniest fucking person, dude. Her stand-ups, though, dirtiest things of all time.
Really?
Oh my God. I was like, wow. I'm a little bit like, that's too dirty. She's dirty. Wow. She's funny. But if you guys do watch Nailed It, I gotta say, if you're gonna bring in Timothy Olyphant for, you know, a justified joke, there's no reason that her in heaven shouldn't. Do you watch Nailed It?
I've seen a couple episodes.
Oh, we've rewatched the seasons multiple times.
It's pretty funny.
So there's a guy at the end of the show on Nailed It that always brings out the trophy for whoever won. And his name is Wes. And at the end of every show, she's always, Wes! Wes! And tries to get him out. He needed to be the other person working in heaven, and she needed to be like, hang on. Wes! Wes! And then the show would have been above Masterclass, would have been perfection.
Jinx is like, are you talking to me? Am I Wes?
Not you, puppy. If they'd have been that meta and put that joke in there, I would have died. I wouldn't be here to do this show right now. I'd just been like, huh! And just smiled and died. But she is the perfect person to have picked for that role. I still can't get over it. Dude, that just made me forget what I was even talking about.
So we were, Jason goes to the archway to walk through to like finish his time in heaven.
Oh, yeah.
So he makes this necklace for Janet so that she can remember him, and then he loses it. Yeah. And Janet's like, it's fine, I'll remember you, don't worry.
No, it's not fine. The symmetrical squirrel might have eaten it. What the fuck's a symmetrical squirrel? Jason. I love that guy.
So good.
Jason
So,
Jason would be a great friend to have.
oh, he would
It
be,
would be great to have a friend like that and just be
yeah,
like, at least I'm not there, you know?
to be like entertained at all times by to
Yeah.
have that, yeah. So yeah, he doesn't go through the door.
Well, we
Janet
don't
walks
know
away.
that. Yeah.
We don't know that he doesn't go through the door. Janet walks away and
Yeah.
assumes that he goes through, but he spends the next 1,000 years in heaven looking for that necklace,
Yeah.
and he eventually finds it, right?
Yeah, he goes, so remember how I lost it? It wasn't in this pocket, it was actually in my other pocket. He
Right.
spent 1,000 years when it was in his other pocket.
But I mean, in that 1,000 years, he kind of like wanders the forest and gets in tune with nature and really kind of almost becomes John Yu, because he gets really like
Yeah.
this monk like state of enlightenment where he's
And
at that point he's
that's
ready.
so we're like a little bit ahead of where I would be at this stage talking about the show, because
Okay.
where that happens is my saddest part.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm not quite there yet, but that
Okay.
does tie into it, and we will come back to that moment when he's all John Yu'd up, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he becomes the monk, and what I love about that part right there is he tells Janet how he did all this stuff and how he would just think about Janet and sit quiet and stuff, and she goes,
Uh-huh.
like a monk. And he goes, what? And she goes, nothing. And just it's just so over his head, but it means the world to her.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about with her being so in, like, even in the character moment, that character has to know something that he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And just feel it and be like, wow, what a circle, you know? And he
Yes.
doesn't even get to realize how full circle that moment is for him.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that moment was so beautiful. She's just
It
like,
was.
like a monk. He's like, what?
Like a symmetrical squirrel.
Like, so when he comes out, I was so thankful he came out when he did, because I was in
Yeah.
like a really bad state, and he was like that. He's that comedic relief that alleviates your sadness right before it's too much.
Yeah.
You know, that scene was needed at that moment.
So at what point does he come out? Remind me.
So, it's pretty much right when Chidi's going through the door.
That's my saddest moment.
That's my saddest moment. But so anyway, so Jason was sitting there this whole time. We didn't know. And
Yeah.
we go back to Tahani, and I really thought, because Jason's there, it cuts to her, which, by the way, I'm not a big Parks and Rec place,
Yeah.
but even I go, Nick Offerman!
He's like her carpentry teacher. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
it is perfect. But Janet comes up to her and says, the thing you wanted to know when it happened. And
Yeah.
I thought it was Jason going through the thing at first.
Was it not?
No, it's when her parents die.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Which I find ridiculous. Like, she's had to wait all this time
That's a long time.
for her parents to die because they're way older than her.
Way older.
You know? And they were already in the experiment the first time for 300 years.
That doesn't track. It's all Jeremy Bearimy.
It's all Jeremy Bearimy stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, her parents come, and I'm guessing they didn't make it to the good place immediately.
You think so?
I think they had to go through the
that's
training.
Probably right.
Because that's when, because they immediately walk up and say, we're sorry.
Yeah.
If they had just died and showed up, they wouldn't feel that way. I think
You're right. That does
account
for that accounts for the missing time. So that's not when her parents died. It's when her parents arrived at the good place.
I think so. And they are because her parents were kind of pieces of work, man.
Yeah, they were not good parents. Watching Tahani like deal with her sister and her parents.
Yeah.
That was really moving stuff to watch. Just like to really dig into that character and figure out why she is the way she is. Like, you
honestly,
really feel for her.
She was like my favorite one throughout most of the show, because I felt like her backstory stuff was way more disheartening,
meaty,
and yeah, it was just really tragic. Like, she is solely trying to impress people, but they already have it set that we're going to not impress her, and maybe that will push her to be better. Is that what they're like? I don't know.
But they were not good parents.
She could never live up to it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, but they were good parents to the other daughter. They showered her with everything.
Right.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
And then chose to give her nothing at all. I just don't... Her whole backstory to me was one of the most that I'd got behind. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
like I really understand Tahani. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah, her parents show up and she gets to spend all this time with them and all that stuff, and then she has her moment.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister goes, you know what? I'm getting really tired of hearing our parents say I love you. And that's all it took.
Yeah.
Because her whole purpose for 4 seasons was earning the respect of everybody around her. And her
Right.
last one was them. And she'd had it for like 1,000 years with them, you know?
She had a long time with him.
Yeah. And she's like, man, I'm done with that shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good now. I think if she left, I really would have fucking died inside. Because I really like Tahani. I really do.
Yeah. I think that the way that they ended her story arc was absolutely perfect. Like, she needed to come around to become
Yes.
an architect. Like, that was her next step. That was what she needed to develop herself further.
I love that she got to do that. And I just
Yeah.
love how she's like, wait, I don't want to leave. She's like, I'm going to do what you do. You can't do what I do. And then she gets to. And she's like, I'll learn it from the bottom up. It's fine.
She gets her little bow tie. It's like,
but then he gives her that peacock bow tie, man.
Yeah.
That makes me cry.
I know. Because I just love the characters and the relationships.
When he gives it to her, when he opens that box and gives it to her, he's not wearing one.
Really? So I didn't notice that.
I think it's almost saying, like, I gave you mine.
Oh.
Kind of thing.
Like passing the gauntlet sort of a thing.
A little bit. I kind of need to rewatch it and see if he was wearing that one when they go there. So I wonder if he took it off in the meantime and puts it in the box.
Maybe, yeah.
I kind of want to, but I clearly noticed this morning he's not wearing one, and he's always wearing one.
Yeah.
So I really think it was like showing her, that's mine. I'm passing over my reins to you, kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, fan-fucking-tastic. Love her ending. Which is not even an ending. It's just a forever.
Yeah. Which is maybe wise.
I'm really comforted that one of them is around forever still.
I know. At least we know Tahani is still out there, like, being an architect and all that.
Yeah. So I did tell Taylor I kind of want to get, like, a really fancy-looking cat or something and name it Tahani.
Oh, man.
Just this really, just prestigious
very
looking,
elegant
dignified cat. And it's just like, hello, Tahani. And it's like, hello, where's my fancy feast? Like, it'd be so
she
perfect.
would eat fancy feast.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. I guess we're going to get into it.
Okay, let's get into it.
You said it was your saddest. Chidi was my saddest.
Yeah.
I truly hated this whole part of the show.
It was so prolonged and so emotional.
Yeah.
So, like, Chidi has the realization that he's ready to move on, and I'm already about to cry. God damn it.
Okay. So, here's the thing. Chidi leaving is not the part that makes me cry. I will tell you the part about his whole leaving that is the part that makes me cry, and I said you got ahead of me when you went back to Jason.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So the whole thing is, Chidi's, like, not him. He's, like, whatever you want to do. Everything's fine. Like, he's just... Chidi, throughout the whole show, is a very energetic person. He's kind of always ready for the next thing.
And he's got, like, nervous energy, too. Like, it's always just, like... He's excited, but he's also nervous. So you can tell something is wrong when he's just like, it's whatever. He's totally calm. He doesn't care about things.
And he is. He's just so chill. And Eleanor picks up on it immediately. She senses that equilibrium that he's got,
Right. And it almost went through her head, like, she's thinking, is he falling out of love with me? Because who wouldn't want to spend eternity with the person you love?
Yeah. Which one of her big character things was abandonment stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was the whole thing with her mom
Yeah.
who faked her fucking death to leave the family and has another family, you know?
Yeah.
That was a whole big thing. But yeah, she's not even so much maybe just he doesn't want to spend time with me. It's just that I'm being left again
Yeah.
by literally the person that means the most and has spent the most time with me ever.
And it's the most permanent of leaving. Like, he's going to be gone forever.
So she's trying like this whole thing to like make him want to stay, and they go to like all of his favorite places on Earth. And by the way, watching it, I was like, damn, I want to go to Athens so fucking bad.
Know. They make it look so pretty and so wonderful.
I want to go. I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
But so they're kind of talking, and he tells her that he's ready to go. And it's, again, one of those moments. Are you ready?
I'm crying already.
Okay. Chidi's whole thing in the entire show, from season 1 till the end, has always been the soulmate thing. As soon as they were told they were going to have soulmates, oh, he was about it. He loved it. That was his thing.
I'm going to get tissues, don't mind me.
Okay. And so... his whole thing has been the soulmates, and I think it's when he realizes he was truly in the soulmate thing that he's ready to go. So he realized he was ready to go at a dinner with his parents and Eleanor's parents. His mom kissed her on the cheek and it left lipstick on her, and then Eleanor's mom just rubbed it off, and he was ready.
Yeah.
It was the ultimate like merging of those two souls, those two families. He was in the soulmate thing, and he's like, I actually have been living it for all these Jeremy Baramies, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like I did have it. And he's good to go. And man, I was really mad at Eleanor because she like kind of guilts him to stay.
Yeah, so she really does get in his conscience and is like, you have to stay with me because I can't have you leave.
Yeah.
And there's like a moment. I want to read this like speech that he has because it like fucks me up, dude. I'm sorry I'm crying so much. This is your Patreon stream. Welcome to Patreon.
I mean, I'm probably going to get there when we get to the end of this part, so.
This is what you guys signed up for, okay? Okay,
For real. You just paid to watch Kelsey cry.
You paid $5. This is what you get. Okay. So they have their like last day together, and Eleanor's like, I need you to give me like something. Give me anything to go on.
Yeah.
And Chidi has this little speech where he says, picture a wave in the ocean. You can see it, measure it, its height. God damn it. I'm so emotional. No.
Okay.
Okay, you can see it, measure it, its height, the way the sunlight refracts when it passes through. And it's there, and you can see it, and you know what it is. It's a wave. Fuck, dude. And then it crashes. I'm glad you didn't watch
it, man.
It would have wrecked me again. This is why I couldn't. And then it crashes on the shore, and it's gone. But the water is still there. The wave was just a different way for the water to be for a little while. You know, it's one conception of death for Buddhists. The wave returns to the ocean, where it came from and where it's supposed to be. So that, for me, is this whole show.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, fully ugly crying now.
Like, see, so that's not my big takeaway from the show, but I think you were right. You and Taylor took the same thing. So
it's always been, like, really rough for me. I've always had, like, a hard time reconciling it.
Like, the idea of death?
Like, yeah, so, like, I'm not, like, afraid of death. I'm afraid of people around me dying.
Okay.
And I'm afraid of forgetting them. So, that was...
Oh, okay.
That was a thing for me, is, like, they're never truly gone. They just kind of go back into the ocean.
Yeah. You can make me cry, Kelsey.
I'm sorry. It's just been, like, a hell of a year, man. So, like, you can kind of take this metaphor out to 2020 as a whole. So, like, this year is not the ocean, it's the wave, you
Yeah.
know?
And it
This
will
is,
eventually crash and go back, you know.
yeah, this is just
Yeah.
the way that the water is for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been such a weird year. Like,
Yeah.
uh, it's been so tough. And I'm just trying to, like, there's a lot of people mourning this year, and for so many different reasons. And I know that you and
Oh
I
yeah.
both have, like, a similarity because we lost our cat this year.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's hard to, like, allow yourself the space to grieve a little furry life
Yeah.
because there's so
Yeah.
many people this year that are losing, like, actual humans and, like, more stuff
Yeah.
than you and I have lost, but it
Well,
sucks.
like I said on our one of our previous shows, you, tr- tragedy is tragedy no matter what, though. Be
Yeah,
it big, small, or whatever.
right.
We all have it. It's not gonna be. It's not equivalent. It's not something you can rank. It is still
Yeah,
loss. It is still something. You know.
absolutely. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And to put it into the metaphor of, like, it goes back to the ocean has really been helpful for me because,
Yeah.
like, so after my cat Zoe passed away, we got our little boy Wicket,
Yeah.
and this is like 5 months after the Good Places ended that
Yeah.
all this is occurring. So we get Wicket, and, like, I get his birth certificate, and I see that he was born the same day that Zoe passed away.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, that's the little piece of the wave
Yeah.
that she was. It went back to the ocean and has now come back as him.
Yeah.
So
That's beautiful.
I'm sorry, I'm crying so
Well,
much. God damn it.
so that's kind of what happened with my brother when Roxy had died.
Yeah,
He got another one that was born pretty much like the same time and looks just like her. Like
that's the thing too.
it's
Is like
crazy.
Wicket looks so much like Zoe,
Yeah.
and when we were going to get a new cat, I was like, I don't want a white cat because I had my white cat. I don't want another white cat.
Yeah.
And Wicket was the only one available, and he's my little white cat baby,
Yeah.
and he has so many of the same mannerisms, and
Yeah.
he makes me happy.
Well, so I was actually telling Taylor, because we just did the whole like PlayStation Toast Ghost thing, right?
Yes.
And I was like, I don't know, I I don't feel any different. I'm like, am I gonna be, and haunted's not the right word, but like, am I gonna be attached to this Toast Ghost forever? And I like pictured like being older and like having kids, and I'm all like, oh yeah, like Toast Ghost woke me up again or something. I'm like, is he really gonna still be around? Like, is he still here? Is he gonna hang on this whole time?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about Doctor Sleep, because in Doctor Sleep there's a cat that goes to the people's beds who are just about to die, and that's how he knows to let the people be at ease, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, am I gonna be like on my deathbed and then finally see the manifestation of whatever he is that's following me around when I finally go?
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, is he gonna like hang on like 60 years and wait for me to finally move? The stupid cat?
He
So
might, I mean,
he
pets
was
are,
he was determined about me his entire life
yeah,
to a point that I don't even think I fully understood. He was about me.
he loved you.
So
Animals and
so
love, they just, that's all they are. Just
yeah,
small,
but
furry vessels of
yeah,
love.
but then you got things like this that are dumb.
Big, chubby dog.
I know.
I want a
So
cat. Where are my cats?
that is the same part for Taylor. Now she is just straight up afraid of death.
Yeah.
Taylor has not had a lot of death in her lifetime. She, I mean, she pretty much had her grandma, which was like her first, really. That's like the first time losing anything like that.
Yeah.
Then Bindi and now Toast. I mean, you could say, oh, well, that's like three things.
It's,
But
In the grand scheme of things, it's few.
Yeah, that's not a lot when there's people that have lost a lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've lost a lot of people in my life, like I really have.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have been suicides. And
God.
that's why I'm very I am very sensitive on that subject. Like people know that I don't really like it.
Yeah.
So, I remember when Robin Williams had died, everybody rushed up to me and were like, "Do you hate him now?" And because I really don't like it when people do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I don't." Like, I know that I don't like it and I hate the fact that somebody could get there,
Right.
but I'm not going to hate that man. He was such a beautiful man,
Yeah, he
you
had
know?
such a lot of life force to give.
Yeah. So, like, I have been surrounded by my fair share of loss and stuff, and it's still never eat. Just because you've lost more people doesn't mean you're better at it. I,
Yeah, it doesn't
I know
get
how to
easier.
do it. No, but you know how to, like I had said, step out of it easier.
Yeah, right.
You've found the ladder in that deep end of the pool before, and you know where it is now.
Yeah.
It's easier for you to go find that ladder and pull yourself out.
The best metaphor that I have read up on for grief is that like your your soul, it's like a little box and there's a button in it that is
Okay.
like the bad button. Like you hit that and just everything hits you, you start crying, everything's bad. And then grief is this ball in the box. And when you first experience a loss, the ball is huge. It's the size of the box. It's just
Yeah.
pressing up against the button. You can do nothing but cry.
Okay.
The more time passes, the ball will shrink and it'll bounce around the room. Sometimes it hits the button, but as the ball gets smaller and smaller, it has less of a chance to hit the button. You'll
Yeah.
always have that ball bouncing around inside of you,
Yeah.
but it just gets easier to deal with the longer you have it.
That's really good. I do like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot better than the Babadook metaphor for grief. I hate that movie. It's so stupid. But so, um, I mean, one day we were just sitting on this couch, and Taylor like just randomly busted out crying,
Yeah.
and she was picturing the idea of dying because I think we were watching The Good Place, and so she was thinking about death, and she became so scared at that thought that it literally like she literally just like shut down crying
Yeah.
because she was so scared of it, right? And we watched this episode, and that whole thing, the wave is just a part of the ocean, and it eventually goes back to it. She was like, "I'm, I'm actually not that scared of it now."
Yeah. It
It,
really
yeah,
it's a good philosophy. It's a really soothing ideal. Like not only is the image of a wave returning to the ocean soothing in itself, like the whole concept of it for me is just,
it's
you
not
know,
gone.
it's not gone. We're all part of the waves. Each of us is a wave in this big ocean, and we're
Yeah,
all heading toward the shore. And like, you can be afraid of crashing on the shore, but you see all these waves around you, and you're all it's not the crash, it's the wave. It's
yeah,
the ride to the shore that matters,
yeah.
and what happens to the water after you crashed.
Like it just killed me that that speech in this show has almost alleviated a fear she's had since the beginning of her life.
Yeah,
That's that's big.
that's the beauty of
That's
philosophy,
huge.
man.
Yeah.
Like it has so many big ideas that they can just boil down to these simplistic, easy to digest things,
Yeah.
metaphors.
Yeah. So he does that speech for her, and then comes kind of when I really start breaking.
Yeah.
She goes, can you tell me by now, and then leave before I wake up?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, she's gonna need that." And he left her a mailman,
The
him and
calendar.
him and all the suits as a
Yes.
calendar.
I loved that.
Mm-hmm. Cheaty, I need
Perfection.
one. I need
I
one.
know. I want that
I want the
calendar.
calendar so bad. I would just like redo the years inside forever. Just the
It's all
same
Jeremy
pictures
Bearimy anyway.
forever. Yeah. Um and so then he goes to leave, and his is the most just like, "I'm gone." Because he knew. He was like
Yeah.
ready.
He was ready fully.
Yeah, Janet kind of walks him to the gate, and she's just like, "You can do whatever," and he's like, "Nope, I'm good."
He's gonna walk on through.
And he walks, right? And then boom, we get Jason. He comes out all with his monk self, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the moment that breaks me. Whew, it's gonna get me again. He tells her all the stuff, and then he just goes, "Hey, Chidi, wait up!" And he just runs behind him.
Yeah.
Like, those two people were so different when the show started.
Yes.
And that where they wind up is so beautiful. I was like, I want to go with Chidi. Shit.
I know.
I want him to be my friend. Chidi. Like, that one line is what makes the whole Chidi part for me so, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Just Jason's just, like, been there. He's like, oh, well, hey, Chidi, wait up. Because now, like, he gets to go with his friend.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. And I was sitting there just like,
to have somebody to, like, walk through the gate with. That's the dream.
That shit fucking really broke me. Look at that, man. Woo! I knew this one was going to make me go, dude. Now, we're not even to what made Taylor fucking break.
Already? No?
Oh, no. Taylor's is way later. That's the moment I've thought about the most since I've watched the show.
Wow.
Was just that.
That one simple moment, that one line.
Well, really, it's Chidi saying what made him ready to go. And then that part.
Yeah.
Like, I think about those two interchangeably. Just like, wow, that's so tiny. Just, yeah, I'm good. I was like, wow. And so then we get to Eleanor. She sticks around for a little bit. What, right?
She does, yeah. As far as, like, readiness in the afterlife.
Yeah. Hang on, I gotta get mine
paper up there.
Well,
plebe.
So, I bought some toilet paper one time, and I brought it home, and it's like half-ply toilet paper.
Oh, no.
There's literally nothing to this toilet paper.
So it's tissue toilet paper.
Taylor was like, use it for something else, because we're not going to use it on us. So
use it to wrap gifts for Christmas.
It's been in here as, like, tissues for a while.
Man.
Yeah, I'm going to have to blow my nose on that one. I didn't think it was going to get me that hard. I thought I had it under control. But for real, just...
I've been, like, preparing for this show. Like, I read that Wade quote over and over, like, trying to be like, okay, I'm going to be able to read this out loud on the day that we do this.
You were not able to read this.
I was not able to. It's so meaningful.
So, Eleanor sticks around. She's kind of doing her stuff. And then she wants to be ready to go.
Yeah.
I want to go. I'm not ready. Can't do it. And then, I will tell you, I did gasp at that moment, because then Michael just walks up. I'm leaving. And then he tries to take off. Because if he'd have faded away right there, I was going to fucking lose it.
Yeah, that would have been, like, the worst.
But so, he can't fade away because he's not
human.
Yeah, he's a whole different makeup.
Yeah, he doesn't have, like, a soul to go back to the ether.
Yeah, the door just can't recognize him, so he just kind of walks through it and nothing happens.
And he walks through it, like, several times. Like, maybe I need to just...
I love it.
...sidle through, or maybe I need to, like, shimmy.
And then it's just like, okay, it's working. Okay, bye-bye.
Janet's like, it's not working.
And so, then... Actually, that stuff kind of makes me cry, too.
Michael trying to get through the door?
No. Eleanor's, like, idea. She was like, I think I know what'll help me want to go through. She's like, I'm going to give Michael the thing that he wants. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
So she goes to the judge, Maya Rudolph, who is the most perfect woman on the planet. Love her. She's so funny. And she asks if they can make him a person, but not go through, like, a whole life. Just kind of send him out. I mean...
As is.
What would you say when he comes out as a person? He's 60-something?
Yeah, I mean, he's Ted Danson age, like, in his 70s, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, so he's gonna live maybe 10, 15,
5, 10 years.
20 years,
Yeah, not long.
Yeah, but he'll have enough time, you know?
He'll have enough time to get all the human experiences he wants, and
Yeah,
he does.
we will get there.
Yeah.
We will get there. But, so yeah, she has the idea to let him do that, and when he's like, for real? And the way that he's like, thank you. It's the most genuine thank you
Yeah.
ever. Like, that's why I can't believe some of the show was like acting. I think some of it was just real. You know?
Right.
Like, maybe they didn't tell these people what was going to happen so they could actually react to it. You know?
Man.
So then he's going to go be a person. And that's what I was saying. That there has to be a lot of improv on this show. Because there's the doorman guy who loves frogs.
Yeah.
Which, I love that guy. And he's got so many fucking frogs now.
So many.
But they give him a real frog. And he's like, I know what I'm gonna name him. And Michael's just like, oh yeah, because we love each other so much. He's like, Mr. Jumpy Legs. Right, Mr. Jumpy Legs. I guarantee Ted Danson was given a script where he names the frog Michael. So he was waiting for it, had his whole acting prepared for it. And then to hear that and go, yeah, okay. And then just move on. I think that was like an improv thing for him.
Yeah.
I don't think they told him that was going to happen.
Ugh.
But so then he gets to go out and be a human. That part actually hits me really hard too.
Just him going through humanity?
No, Janet having to tell him bye as he goes through
Oh.
the thing.
God, yeah,
I
that
told
hurt.
you, she has to react to every... That poor woman never will want to act again.
I know, everybody. Sure.
But she's, make sure you get a doctor's appointment as soon as you get down there. Don't talk to strangers. Don't do this. And he's like, I'll be back. And she goes, I know, but I worry. That shit, that killed me. I was like, poor Janet, because for real, this is now one thing she doesn't know so far.
Yeah. She has no idea what it's like down on Earth.
Yeah, because she knows everything, but what's going to happen to her Michael,
Yeah, she's been with Michael for millennia at this point, so they've never had an existence apart.
Yeah. Man, I feel real bad for her going through this right now.
I know, she's got a lot.
So, he gets to walk through the door. Well, not the door, but he goes through the doorman's door.
Yeah.
Down to Earth. Gets to be a human. In his New Balance sneakers. Like,
yes.
Such a... Like a old dad thing,
Yes, every old dad has New Balance.
And then he commences life. And then Eleanor is still not happy.
Yeah.
She's still not fucking ready to go. She's like, what is it? Like, what is wrong? And she thinks about good old Mindy St. Clair.
Uh-huh.
And is like, if I get her out of the medium place, things will be good, right?
Right.
And she goes to talk to her, and can I say, Derek? He is... They keep calling Janet the most advanced being in the universe. It's Derek.
Derek
is the heat, the heat death of the universe and the beginning all in one creation. Like, he is everything.
The Alpha and the Omega. Just all wrapped up in one.
Like, whew. I can't tell you how many times since the show I've walked around and, like, just been doing something and gone, Derek!
It's a pretty good Derek impression.
I love that guy. So he's from Big Mouth.
Yeah, he's from a lot of things. I know him from The League.
I love that guy. Yeah. Yeah, I say Derek all the time. Like if we're trying to get something open, like if I'm trying to open a jar or something, I just say it. When things go good, when things go bad, it's a very universal word.
Just very flexible. Insert it anywhere.
But my favorite is the very excited, just Derek. So she gets Mindy to decide to leave that, and because Mindy was like her mirror. She was like, I always saw myself as you. I would wind up in the medium place because nobody cared about me. I didn't care about nobody else. Like, you are me. But I can see good in you, and there was good in me because I evolved. I need to do the same for you.
Right.
And when she agrees to do it, she's now good, you know. And well, shit, you read the thing. Now, I want to read one
Okay.
because her final thing is so beautiful.
I don't even remember her final thing, so maybe I'll fucking cry again. Let's see.
You will,
Russian roulette.
because then it's all things that Michael's doing at the same time as she goes through it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh man.
Uh, Let me see.
The final episode of the show is like it really wraps everything right up. Like they put a big
Yeah,
fancy bow on every single character.
dude, when you type in the final speech stuff, it's all Chidi's wave speech.
Is it? God, that speech hit hard for resting people
Oh
then
man.
too. Like, man.
Uh
I think that's a fear a
yeah.
lot of people have. It's just, the fear of what comes after death. And yeah, it's just one of those things that like I've wrestled with a lot. And
Yeah.
being able to reconcile it with such a simple metaphor has been
I guess I
kind
need
of
to do
transformative.
I guess I need to do IMDb and see if they have it on there cuz you only get Chidi speech.
Yeah,
Like I
while
typed
you're looking
in
for that.
Eleanor and it's all like, yeah, Chidi tells Eleanor this speech and it's like, "No, damn it."
While you're looking at that, I'll bring up some Jason quotes to lighten the mood here. So,
I really want to start saying "ah dip." Like that's the best.
I love all of his random plans. So, like, one of my favorite things he says is, "In Jacksonville, I got a flu virus named after me."
Oh my god, he's so ridiculous.
Yo, you should listen to me. I came up with hundreds of plans in my life, and only one of them got me killed.
Yeah.
This is my bud hole. It's just like a hole where me and my buds can hang out.
Dude, I love the butthole.
Bud.
Dude, they
I
only
wasn't a
have the
failed
wave one.
DJ. I was pre-successful.
Let's see.
When he asks about the bad place, what do you guys think the bad place is going to be for you? I'll probably go to a Skrillex concert and I'll be waiting for the bass drop, and it'll never come.
It'll never drop. Oh man, dude, I can't find it. People
Can't find it anywhere.
people don't want to remember that one. It's the best like final thing ever.
Eleanor final good place speech. Yep, there's the wave speech.
Like I found like a YouTube about it, but I don't want to listen to it and then try to be saying it back. But I remember enough of it.
Okay.
I really wish I could read it to you though, cuz it's really good. But so the whole final thing, she's now ready cuz Mindy's going to go through the schooling and graduate to the good place and all that stuff.
Right.
And then Janet takes her to the door, and God, it's just such Eleanor stuff right there. She's all like, "Well, do you want to sit with me for a bit?" She goes, "Sure." Margarita, always. So they pop out margaritas, and I love that when they start the speech, the glasses are full, and when the speech ends, they're gone. So it's like they sat there and had a whole conversation over this drink. And so she's just talking to Janet about all that stuff, and then she goes, "Well, I wonder what Michael's doing." And so Eleanor's like, "Well, he's probably doing what we all do." She's like, he's going to have good days, and he's, at like a New Year's party. 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year! And he's all happy, and it's like, and then he's going to have the bad days. And he's comforting a friend at the bar, and he's saying, like, there's a lot of good hospitals here. She's going to be okay. And the guy's so happy, and it's like, and then he's going to have this and that. And we come to what Taylor died at. Right? She's all like, he's going to have friends and meaningful loved ones or whatever. And he has this big-ass Great Dane on his couch.
Oh.
And his collar is a bow tie. and his name, shit, it got me. And his name is Jason.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Taylor died. I've never seen a woman cry that hard, and I've seen her fucking cry hard. Okay, for real. When he, like, cause he's eating like Chinese takeout, and
Yeah,
he's
and he
like,
like burns himself on the microwave.
"Here you go, Jason." When he said Jason for that dog, Taylor died inside.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's like, he'll make mistakes that we've all made at least once, and he's pulling that like TV dinner out of the microwave, and, just, and then he drops it and just busts out laughing.
Yeah.
And he gets to send his text. He's somebody's like, we're at the bar. Where are you? Oh, 5 minutes away, but I haven't
He's
even
not
left the
even
house
ready.
yet. So all that stuff, and you know, she's like, he's just getting to be human, and things are great. Jason being the dog, man, that's amazing.
It's perfect.
It is perfect. And then we get to like the end of the show. So
Yeah.
she kind of just gets up, she walks through, and you see her like disperse.
And this is the
All
first
these
time you
little
see what
things of light.
happens
Yeah.
to something that goes through the door. So yeah, she just kind of, these little blue like fragments of light just kind of go up and into the ether.
So I'll go ahead and take it through the end of the show, and then I want to ask you what it all means.
Okay.
Okay. And so then there's this one piece that it focuses on, and it's just like falling all around, and this guy's checking the mail, and he going through the mail, finds a piece that's not his, throws it in the trash, and he turns around to walk away, and one of those pieces lands on him, and it like absorbs into him. And the guy kind of like stops, and he turns, and he takes that mail out of the trash. And watching it this time, I realized it's not even like the same building. He had to like go somewhere to find Michael's house to give this back to him.
Right.
He went somewhere for this. So he goes to Michael's apartment and knocks on his door. And it's like, hey, here's this piece of mail. It was delivered to my building by mistake. He's like, oh, thank you, thank you. And in season one of the first things Michael ever talked about being amazing that he wishes he could experience was getting a rewards card.
Yes.
And he didn't care from where, just getting a rewards card. And he opens up that piece of mail, and it's a rewards card.
Yeah.
To some stupid store. Like, who cares, right? Which, by the way, I noticed it this time. What's his name?
Whose name?
Michael's name. His full name is on that piece of paper.
Michael Realman.
Michael Realman. I died. I laughed so hard today.
Yes, so good.
Michael Realman. And so he gets his rewards card, and you're already like, that's the best payoff. The show can end.
Yeah.
And then they don't end it.
Nope.
Because they give you the perfect ending. The final line of the show is the most perfect final line of the show.
Yeah.
The guy goes, well, take it easy. And then Michael says, wait a minute. I'll do you one better. I'm going to say this to you, my friend, with all the love in my heart and the wisdom of the universe. Take it sleazy.
Take it sleazy.
And there's no other lines in the show. The guy doesn't respond to it. He just kind of smiles and laughs and walks away.
Walks away.
And then it just ended.
Yeah.
With Take It Sleazy, which was one of his big... He just wanted to say it to somebody.
Yeah, because Eleanor said it all the time.
Yeah, and now he gets to say it. And I guarantee it's not the first time he said it.
Oh, yeah, no.
I guarantee he says it to everybody like that. I'm going to say this to you, my friend, with all the love in my heart and all the wisdom of the universe. Take it sleazy. Every time he says, take it sleazy. And then it just kind of, that's it.
Yeah.
So, I literally have thought about the ending of the show.
Oh, you froze.
I froze?
Oh, no. Okay, we're back. Sorry.
Okay. I've really thought about the ending of the show a lot for like 3 solid weeks after finishing it. And I have a lot of different takes on it.
Okay.
But so, Eleanor walks through the door.
Yeah.
What happens? What happens when you go through the door?
So that's the thing. It's the wave returning to the ocean. That whole metaphor again. So like all the little particles of Eleanor float down back into the earth, and just the things that she did throughout her life and all the work that she did to learn the lessons that she had to go through.
Yeah.
Each of those little particles is just a piece of her that is going to affect how someone else lives their life.
Yeah.
So that guy could have just, thrown that junk mail away and been fine. It was a rewards card. You don't need to deliver a
Yeah.
junk mail rewards card to somebody. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But that little piece of Eleanor came down and was like, no, you should take this back to him.
Yeah.
So, that's just
So
the effect of her goodness living on in the world after she has been gone.
yeah. So I didn't take it as like he's now a good person, right? I feel like
Right.
every speck will cause a good deed.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, it like went into him, it was absorbed by him, but I don't think he's gonna be like, I'm gonna be a better person. I don't take it as that. I think it's like, it's like I'm one good being, and now I cause 1,000 good acts that then will spread from there too, right? It's
Like a
good.
pay it forward situation.
Yeah, it's good causing and promoting good, right?
Okay.
And then I thought, because I'm really big into what's the law of physics where there's only so much matter in the world. It's like, there's only this amount of matter. We cannot either create it nor take it away.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I don't know what that is, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So then my thought was, how like for 500 years nobody's able to get into the good place?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was almost because all that good is stored up there. There's none.
Oh.
There's none left. There's no reason to be good. All the good is gone.
Okay.
And now we're like recycling it, kind of keeping the good flowing in the universe all the time. Now that good can come back down to Earth to come back up, recycle down, and it's a constant like water cycle kind of
like
thing.
the water cycle, yes.
Yeah, of good. Like I think
okay.
They kind of invented a way to start recycling it because I feel like there was almost none left on Earth.
Yeah.
For people to ever get in.
That's a good way of thinking about it. I never thought about it in that way.
Told you, I was thinking about it a lot. And I have thought about that before because I do think the world is becoming a bit of a harder place to be in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I had said once before the idea of soulmates to me seems a little hard now because if there's only so much matter in the universe, right? This is a weird concept to think of, but I was like, we keep getting more and more people.
Yeah.
If we had so many people, a soul's only worth so much, and if it's now having to split to fill up more people, what if soulmates aren't even a thing because there's no two whole souls to match up anymore?
That's an interesting thought.
Being split down so much and diluted amongst this ever-growing population that we have,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the concept that I applied to that good. The good's all up there.
Yeah.
And now that they can walk out, it can come back down to affect the people to do good, and then it promotes it, and it just recycles.
Yeah, that makes sense too. So, do you believe in soulmates? It's a big question.
Yes.
I do too. I don't know if there's like I don't
I don't
so it's
think,
hard for me.
I don't think it's what people think it is. Like it's just like, oh, I just love that person to death. That's it. I think a soulmate is just your complement.
Yeah, it's just the puzzle piece that fits with yours.
Yeah, I don't necessarily take it as your soulmate could be. I mean, it doesn't have to be, like a man and a woman to get married, or like it doesn't have to be a love thing. It can just be like
it could
your
be a
best
friendship.
friend. Yeah, but you're just my other piece.
Right.
I think a soulmate is as simple as that.
I agree with that. I think that's a good way to think of things. There's I think it's a Greek thing where I learned it from a musical called Hedwig and the Angry Inch. It's the concept of soulmates where like when Earth was first created, everybody was one creature. So one creature would have like two humans on it. So 4 legs, 4 arms, 2 heads. And then the creatures, I guess, got too powerful, and the gods were like, we gotta strike these fuckers down. And so they cut everyone in half, and scattered the halves all around. So they no longer are
Huh.
whole. Everybody's a half.
Okay.
And like you can still operate as a whole person, but when you find your other half, it's that complement.
Yeah.
And it's just that thing that really like makes you feel like, oh, this is how it feels to be complete.
Whole. Yeah.
Whole.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really neat concept.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I felt about when they walk through and disperse.
Yeah.
Was, re-putting the good that is all of Eleanor into everybody else and letting everybody else have some of that good now, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, this show is so big and just like experience the little things. Michael's whole thing is just
Yes.
having all the small things. And that your good can literally change the world around you. I feel like I think people feel like they do good and it goes unnoticed. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I totally believe in like a pay it forward kind of thing. I mean, if you put good out, I have to believe that good comes from that.
Yeah.
I just think it
Imagine
does.
imagine a world with no good deeds.
Yeah.
Say like if I were to think like there's no point in me doing the smallest of good deeds because it'll go unnoticed and it'll go unpaid.
Yeah.
If everybody thought like that, what a shitty place to live, you know?
Oh
Nobody
yeah.
would be doing good for anything at all ever.
Yeah.
So humans are not meant to act only in self-interest. People are meant to cooperate, live life
Yeah.
with each other, and,
That is
affect
how
each
we
other.
got here. I
Yeah,
mean, cavemen people, they didn't just like, oh, I live by myself. They had packs. People had
right.
to work together to make it through a night.
Yes.
I mean, we are a we are a cooperative unit, so to say. And I
Right.
feel like
We're the product of thousands of years of
yeah,
cooperation.
yeah. Get up there, dog.
Hi, Doke.
There you go. Like I just think there's some really powerful things to take away from the show. And like I was saying earlier, I don't see how you can watch anything. I truly don't believe there's any form of media that's ever created for you to just go, that was a good waste of my time. Like I'm happy about it. There's always something that it would like for you to take.
Yeah,
It can be a really tiny message, like hey, be good to people. You know,
yeah,
I mean, everything that I've ever watched, there is something that I've taken from it and tried to apply to life in
right.
some way. And I would say for this one, I mean, it really just reinforced my whole put good out, hopefully good comes back in it.
Yeah,
That idea of recycling the good. Or as
right.
a very wise co-host of mine once said, leave it better than you found it,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Glad that message stuck with you.
I really like it. I do. It was very much like that Kratos line. Just two words, just be better.
Yeah,
That's a big that's powerful. And I feel like because we get a lot of instant gratification, we get a lot of just like things handed out to I mean like when you go to the store, you don't have to work to get food, you just go buy it.
right.
You know,
You're not out there actually hunting and gathering.
yeah, you don't really do anything to get your stuff. We as humans now don't really work for the things that we get.
Yeah,
We have a lot of things in place that just provide it,
right.
which a lot of times it doesn't work that way, like water. You know,
Yes.
we take for granted very much so that we can just turn on a faucet and have something that makes us live.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
there are people in this country that don't have that opportunity.
yeah. So I feel like you should try to always be learning from everything that you experience, and that was the whole point of this show was they learned from everything that happened to them for like thousands of years
Yeah.
to finally become I mean to finally be a good person.
Yeah.
It took a long time and a lot of experience and learning. All these four people did was learn the entire show.
The whole show, nothing but.
And every single one of them thought that they were already perfect.
Yeah. So
They
that's
they
another message
truly
you can
did.
take away from it. Like that you should never just stagnate in life. There's always something you
Yeah,
can take away. There's always you can improve yourself
all the time.
forever
Yeah, I think
until the air
what.
outside your lungs is the same as the air in your
Yeah,
lungs.
isn't that what inventors say? Just because something's not broken doesn't mean it can't be improved upon.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always make something be better. It might work, but it can always work better. You as a person may work just fine. Everything is great, everything is moving forward, but it could always be better.
Yeah. If
You
there's
know?
like one thing that I would want people to take away from this show, that's it. Is that you can always do better.
Mm-hmm. Like, they literally went to hell and were like, but we could be better.
Yeah.
And got better. You know?
Literally, Tahani at the start of the show goes to hell, and at the end, she is the architect of heaven.
Yeah.
So, like, if that's not a redemption arc, I don't
Oh
know
my
what the
god.
fuck is.
I know, right? Like, I am so happy you made me watch the show. It is honestly one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I think it is one of the greatest works of all time.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean from any one thing. So much comes together to make this be as perfect as it is.
Yeah.
From Ted Danson's nuanced delivery of a line to somebody inventing the Jeremy Bearimy. You know,
Right.
the way all of it comes together, it is it's really perfect TV. It really
It
is.
is chef's kiss.
There's very little in shows that I've seen as good as that.
Yeah.
Or
I'm so
shows I
glad you
like.
watched it. And
Yeah,
I'm so glad that it resonated with you in the same way that it did with me.
it very much did. Like, this is what people should be watching instead of fucking CSIs and shit. I can't stand that stuff anymore.
Okay.
Like, well, that's all people really watch. They're all like CSI, all the stupid. I hate cop and doctor shows. Can't I can't stand them because everyone just gets sick and then they get better. It's fine. You
Have
know
you. Okay.
what?
As far as cop and doctor shows go, you should watch Scrubs and you should watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I know I need to watch Scrubs. Well, at least those two are funny, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scrubs was I think on NBC.
I have no idea. I watched it all on Netflix
Okay.
in
Well,
college.
when it was on that TV station, I didn't get very well, so I never watched it. But
Makes sense.
I've heard that there are people in it I'm going to 100% identify with and
Yes.
stuff. So
You are Turk.
okay,
It's you.
okay. I do need to watch it, and I feel like I can because I finally don't hate the actress that was Stella in How I Met Your Mother. So I can look at her now and not get just like seethingly angry.
Friendship between
Man,
the two main dude characters is you and Ferdin, like 110%.
that is what I've heard. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'll have to watch that. Really, if I had any other show for you, it's funny. The only shows I have for you are almost like anime based stuff.
What?
Well, so I know that you're currently watching Avatar still,
Yes.
and it's hitting home for you.
It's hitting home.
Okay. The only other show that I would have out of everything that I know, and no, it's not going to be My Little Pony. It's not going to change your life, okay?
Okay.
I just really like that show.
I know you do.
Actually, that's good. But really, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
I really wish that you would watch that. Because Taylor, again, does not like that kind of stuff. And she would force me to keep watching them. I was like,
oh, wow.
I was like, can we go to bed? And she's like, no, I need to see more.
More.
And we went through that whole show, and it's another one of those that, like, the ending literally can't go any other way. The way it goes, it's the way it had to go. It was perfect. You can't imagine it being anything else.
Okay.
Because The Good Place could have been like Yep, they all got to heaven. The end.
The end. And that would have been like the worst ending.
And that could have been the ending, you know?
It could have been.
But it took it a step further and said, but what's going to happen? You
Yeah.
know? Full Metal could end somewhere, but they were like, you know what? Well, what would happen? The ending to that show, I can picture the final still of that show, and it makes me cry every time.
Oh man.
Like, the ending image is a photograph that they show,
Uh-huh.
and that photograph, if you've watched the show, the way everyone is in it tells how far it all came, and it literally makes me cry every time I see it. That, like, still.
Okay.
It's the only anime that I really like that.
Aside from Avatar.
I still don't consider that anime, but yes. Well, if I were gonna butt up those two together, Full Metal wins hands fucking down.
Oh.
I
Okay.
would trade Avatar away for Full Metal any day.
Big words.
That's truth words though.
Okay.
Dude, Full Metal's the bomb. Ferdin knocked it out of the park when he showed me that one. He was like, I have the anime that will finally get you, and I was like, you're so stupid.
Gonna snag you, bring you in.
Well, it made me like that one. I still don't like anime, but that one, yeah, I think about it a lot still.
Okay.
That's one of those good ones. And then one day, I'll make you watch the Marvel movies.
Maybe.
But that's not going to change your life. That's just like, wow, what good cinematic closure.
Okay.
That's all that is. That's like good closure for 10 years of shit.
Okay. So next month we do have our plan already for you guys. We're going to be reviewing. I will finish Avatar. I have 4 episodes left to go, and we're going to review it.
I think me and Taylor might try to rewatch the whole show before then.
That's so much show.
We watched it originally in 3 days. No, 2 days.
What? Holy shit.
Yeah, when we first got together, it was on Amazon Prime, I think. And I'd always heard about it. So I was like, let's watch it. And we literally could not stop. We watched the whole show. And then maybe after we do that one, when you finish that, if you like it as much as I hope you do, and you want to get into Legend of Korra,
yeah,
me and Taylor can, because we've still never finished that. So if we watch it kind of together, maybe we can do that one at some point too.
Yeah, maybe we can do like a combo review, Avatar and Korra.
Yeah.
If I bust it out.
I mean, Korra's a little bit more like the good place for you.
Okay.
It's got a lot of more like deep thoughts in it. Like the first one, so Avatar to me is a lot of like, can he overcome and become what he needs to be? Like, how's he gonna accomplish? Like, this is set upon a tiny child.
Yeah.
How can he grow up to be that when he literally doesn't understand it?
Right.
And Korra goes into like the philosophy of like what the Avatar means.
Okay, so more of a philosophizing thing.
Like, because in one of the Korra shows, you get to see how the first Avatar becomes the first Avatar.
All right.
And that is the most riveting TV we have ever watched.
Okay, well, we'll get into that when we get into that, I guess.
So, yeah, we'll do Avatar next. Because I doubt we'll do Korra at the same time. But we'll see. And then we'll probably be streaming some stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
At some point.
Be sure to go check out the Discord. There's lots of good channels in there. So we have channels where you guys can suggest things for us to go over. We have the news feed where you can see what we're planning coming up next for you. There's always the suggestion box. It's a direct line to us. It's even faster than the email. We will read it right then and there.
It just goes bloop.
Bloop. Notification. Robert and Kelsey. Hey, look at this.
So I'll probably be at my computer way more, talking to you guys and stuff now.
Yeah.
And also, if you're out on there, we also have the pre-ramble section. So if we talk about some wild ass shit before we actually start the show, and then mention none of that stuff. There's
So
a
if you've ever been listening to the show and like you get to the very end, you know how there's the one more sound we think you should hear. That always comes most often
yeah, it
from the
does.
pre-ramble. So if you're wondering like why were they talking about dog buttholes that never happened ever in the episode, like oh there
You'll
it
see why.
was.
So yeah,
Tell
we
your
have
friends about
those.
us. Make sure that if you got a friend that you think would enjoy our content, if you think they would enjoy our Patreon, it is a good idea to spread it around.
Yeah, we hope to really get to interact with you guys in there.
Yeah.
Put out some more stuff that you would like to see. I really want to know what you guys would like for us to, know about and experience. You know,
Yeah.
there's just too much stuff out there. So much content.
How
You
are we
know,
to sift through it all?
exactly. So we need you guys. You know, and we appreciate you guys for
So
sharing that
much.
stuff with us. Because
Yes.
if Kelsey hadn't shared this with me, it wouldn't have given me a lot of that stuff to think about. I love the go deep kind of really think about that stuff.
Yeah.
This show made me go deep. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up there for you guys. Let us know what you would like us to review next.
Yes,
If it's
please.
another show, if there's a game that you've played that really rocked you to your core, changed something for you, tell us about
A
that.
movie,
Could be a movie. I
a
have
trilogy of movies.
way too many fucking movies that have shaped me as a human being.
Yeah.
And I could talk infinitely about some of those messages and how I don't know how people don't take that from that piece of media,
Yeah.
So
So this show is based on something that I recommended to you. Next show is Avatar, which you recommended to me. I would love for a
yeah,
third one to be something that's totally fresh for the both of us.
because there's a lot of stuff that I have not seen.
Same.
If it's TV, I definitely probably haven't seen it, and if it's a
Yeah.
movie, I'm betting Kelsey probably hasn't seen it.
Right.
So find us a good medium spot. Find
Yeah.
us a medium place
Find us a medium place.
with lukewarm Dr. Peppers all the time.
God.
I would be okay with that because I drink them warm a lot of the time anyway.
Ugh.
So, hope you guys enjoyed our first Patreon review. I'm sorry that we both cried.
It was a lot.
I knew it was gonna. I really thought I had planned on crying, and then was like, "Oh, I'm talking about it pretty good. I'm not gonna," and then I did. I did. Like I really had some wells up here. I got little salty streaks right now.
I know, my whole face is just salt right now.
I will probably in one of the secret Discord things, post up Eleanor's like final speech, so
Yeah,
that you
good
guys
idea.
can hear it. Because I found it on YouTube, but not just to read, but it's a really good listen about just the human condition. She's just saying he's gonna be human,
Yeah.
and it's great. And really, that would be a show that I'd like for you to watch one day too. Adventure Time,
Okay.
because that's basically the ending of that show.
Oh.
It's just, and then life happens, and I loved that ending, and Taylor hated that ending.
Oh no.
So I'd love to see what you would think about it,
Okay.
because we literally could not be more different. So, well, thanks for making me cry.
Thanks
I hated
for
it.
bringing the tears.
So, I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. Let us know what you want, and I guess we will see you in the next one.
On the flippity flop. And
Um,
don't take it easy.
Take it
Take it
sleazy.
sleazy.